me, I'm a British actor and an agent. Um, and of course, I've done some damage to my fingers.
Oh no! What
What
happened?
happened?
It's a new movie I've just done, being a stupid idiot, cutting my fingers with a Stanley knife.
Ah, oh
Geez.
my God.
So yeah, I'm all right. Though it's a couple of days, I'll be right as rain. Um, but what it was, I couldn't find the link for last week's meeting.
Oh,
So
Wow.
I know. So don't worry, I've worked it out now. So
Okay.
um, so I've got a meeting in a couple of hours, so I won't be staying too long.
Okay.
There's nothing I need at the minute. My website's up and running,
Okay.
still with a few teething problems. So if anyone wants to go and have a look at it, it's pauldove.com, and
Great.
it's for anyone in the industry to log on, and they can get work through it.
Great.
Well, that's
That's
great.
terrific.
And do you have Adam Sartain's email in case that problem happens again?
Paul.
I have now.
Oh, you
Good.
do? Okay,
Oh,
good.
good. So you're fine. Okay. Well, great. Well, good to see you, Paul, as always. Anything else?
No, that's right. And I believe you had a great fair the other day with your Space Command.
Yes. Well,
Yes.
the convention was a big success. We've just
I
launched.
actually popped in for a second or two
Have
Oh,
fun.
just to
wow.
have a look.
Yeah, well, it's still up there where one can watch the entire convention, and we released the new episode, and we now have a Kickstarter campaign going. So there's a lot happening. So
All
it's
right.
been active.
Just before I go, a little bit of bad news. I was supposed to be coming out there on the 1st of September,
Mhm.
but apparently Donald Trump and Virgin Airlines have cancelled.
Oh
So
dear.
I can't get out there.
Oh, shoot.
So,
Oh well, that's a shame. Sorry
Well,
about
we'd
that
like to apologize for our president.
for our country.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But hopefully
he'd
they'll be.
like to apologize for being president.
Yes. So great. Well, it's good to see you, Paul.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Take care.
Great. So
Connie,
okay.
Okay.
So now Connie, how about
Connie,
you?
thanks for joining us at this outrageous time.
Oh, that's okay. It was the highlight of my week.
Mhm.
So hi everyone. I'm Connie. I'm an actor, singer, writer, production artist, special effects makeup artist. I've had a lot going on lately. My mum's had her last chemotherapy session,
Great.
which is great. She's not out of the woods yet. She's still got to have radiotherapy, but over the biggest hurdle, so that's great. Oh God, what else? I did a music thing with the South African Chamber of Commerce, raising money for people in South Africa during the coronavirus because it's been quite badly hit. That came out a couple of weeks ago, and that was really amazing thing to be a part of, which was really nice.
It was wonderful. How can people still see it?
Yeah, it's still up on YouTube. So
How can I find it? I mean, I love it.
I'll put the link in the chat before I go.
Great. I would for everybody. It was just great. It was true, very moving, beautifully
Yes,
done.
it was great. It was a great
Yes.
job.
Thank
It was
you.
a great job. So great. So anything you need, Connie?
No, nothing I need at the moment. I'm just I've been writing again because I've finished all my coursework's in, so I've had a little bit more time. So I've actually started writing an animated short, which is a new thing for me. That's not something that I've done before. So it's just I'm learning as I go. But yeah, no, I'm okay at the moment. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks
Well,
for joining
cheers.
us. Yay.
Good to see you. So Adam, I don't assume we have any questions on Mr. Sci-Fi at this stage, or
We actually do have a
Really?
question from
Wow.
Hayes494, who
Okay.
asks, would you be interested in hiring Christina Moses's co-star from A Million Little Things, Allison Miller, on
Well,
Space Command? She
of
would be
course.
a great addition to your show and did Sci-Fi before.
Wow, really? I'll write that down and we'll check it out. Sure. I'll that's a great suggestion. So yep, Allison Miller. Okay, great.
Good question.
Okay, cool. Great. Thanks for the question. So now let's see. So you were saying Michelle. Yeah, go for it, Michelle. Oh, we can't hear you yet.
You're muted?
Oops, there
Oh, there you are. Okay, good.
Otherwise, I'll just yell really loud.
Okay.
Sure.
Pardon me. For people who don't know me, yes, I am an actor and dancer, and I have been totally swamped with trying to convert what was a very full office containing many, many things into an empty room that can be rented out. And so I have now moved my office, such as it is, kind of sort of, into the living room. Excuse me. I haven't sounded like this all day. I basically have been putting square pegs into round holes for several days here. And it's sort of improving by degrees. In the middle of all of this, I have acquired a proofreading job of something that is 500 pages long, and they want it done in a week, which is why I'm not going to stay here any longer. And for the gentleman who asked if I was an actor, I am. I don't usually sound like Louis Armstrong. And I can be found on IMDb, but you have to spell Michelle with one L, and the last name is Hart. And I'm available for readings and anything that pays union wages.
So, Michelle, do you have a link to your voiceless roar scene?
And Hart, well, Bill have, but Dave Edison is the one responsible for that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was it? Did you need something?
Oh,
Did I not get it? Did I not get that to you?
Yeah, she needs the she needs a link to the voiceless roar scene because she's advertising herself as an actor.
Okay, well, I will get that to you. It's on my list of many things to do this week, so I will get that to you on your other cuts that you wanted. By the way, in case you didn't know, Hart is spelled with no E. You said last name Michelle is spelled with one L, but Hart is spelled with no E.
Right. That is a 4-letter word.
Yes.
Yes.
That's kind of all I've got to say.
Well, your family was pretty stingy with the alphabet, yes?
Well, it's a longer story than it appears to be. There were other names involved, but Hart, H-A-R-T, which is fairly traditional. It doesn't have to do with an organ of the body. Actually, a heart is a type of a deer.
Ah, okay.
Just think of me as Dear Michelle. You don't want to hear this. I gotta get my blue pencil out and get going. I've got
okay. Well, thanks for joining us.
The proof.
Okay. Well, we'll see you soon. Cheers. Bye. So I guess Carol Field, I guess. If you want to. Oh yeah, go for it, Carol.
No, now you can hear me.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you had an anniversary. Congratulations.
Thank
you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Lovely. Let's see. Is my brother here? I wanted my brother from San Diego to come tonight, but I don't think he is here. Okay. This is for Susan Flakes.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it?
Ken. That's great.
Oh, that's great.
Cool.
My con t-shirt when I was at the con festival. So I'm looking forward to hearing about your virtual event. That's
yes.
I really am. Isn't that cool? Yeah. I know. It was such
and thank you for Sylvia's name. She called me while I was in the middle with the guy doing a pitch deck. Major work. So I had to, but I'm gonna call her back.
Wonderful. I'm so glad I could refer her. She's great. You'll like each other a lot. That's great. And I'm looking forward to hearing about your con event because when I came back from the festival, I didn't shut up. It was so amazing. So friggin' amazing. Okay, I have a couple questions. I got a thing across my computer today that Screen Actors Guild wants me to vote yes.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't say for what. Does anybody have any idea what we're voting for? Said, please vote yes, Carol Field. I went, okay, no. Okay, no one knows. All right, whatever.
I think it's for the new contract.
It is. It's for the new contract.
It's for the new one.
What's your view of the contract, guys?
SAG-AFTRA.
No. What's your view? Do you think?
Oh, I think it's they made a lot of great improvements, wages, residuals, down the line. It's a good deal, good for 3 years.
Great.
Okay, thank
Great.
you. See, come to the table. I'm very available for table reads, you guys. I would love to do a table read. I'm right here. Okay, I have a couple questions. Yeah. When I was in a play in February, this guy came backstage. It was very complimentary. Come to find out, I also write. Come to find out, he has a small production company. I've written the pilot to my animated series, and he knows a lot of people, so he wants to tweak it or put it in final draft, whatever for me. However, this is my question. He's really thick on stage directions. And don't you think for a pilot script, you need as little stage direction as possible? He said, this will be like a shooting script, so they'll have everything laid out for them. And he's really smart, but I just don't like the quantity of him putting so much in there. Yeah.
But this is animation?
Yes, yeah.
Huh?
What?
I know.
I'm sorry, Lynn, I was distracted for a second.
So she has an animation script.
Yes.
And
working with a guy who has a production company, and he wants to put it in final draft, but tweak it for me. However, he wants to put in a lot of more stage direction.
No.
Thank you.
No. I mean, script should be very lean, you know.
Even though it's animation.
Even though it's animation, yes. I mean, you describe what's pertinent, but you don't over describe because people will skip it.
Right.
You know, page. So yeah. Now, by the way, just to, I was supposed to mention that Space Command has been put on the preliminary ballot for the Emmys for short, like web series, you know. So I don't know if anyone has a list of Television Academy members, but we're trying to get a hold of that, so that we can send out screeners, you know. So if anyone has information on that or a line to that, let me know, okay? But go ahead, Carol, please.
Good idea. No, that's congratulations. That's fantastic.
Thanks.
So yeah, that's what I've been telling him. No, really, thank you so much. But can we bring this down? He said, no, let's really show them what's in it. He said, this is really quality. Let's show them what's in it. Thank you. And I'm going, ay.
Yeah.
So for the most part, the answer is no.
Right.
All right.
People hate to read. People hate to read. And so you want it to be as easy as possible to read the script. Watching the show is a very different experience from reading a script. So things that are fun to watch are tedious to read. And so most people will just read the dialogue on any given script, unless the shot descriptions are extremely lean, so that when your eye falls on them, you get it. And so I mean, when I was writing animation, you know, it was very, very different back then because you had to break down shots a lot more. It was completely a different world. But again, you don't go into description. No, not at all.
He said his philosophy is he's handing them a shooting script. And I said, that's not our job.
No.
For the producer director.
You want them to enjoy the experience of reading it. And ideally, they would see the show in their mind. Okay? You do not over describe. That's the sign of it's an amateur.
Thank you. Oh my God. Why? Okay. All right. Okay, I have one more question.
Sure.
At an agency that sells any product, if it's the Gap or Dial soap or whatever, what is the name of the person who buys the airtime? It's not the account exec. Do you have any idea?
I don't know that.
Buys airtime. Okay. Anybody know that?
Does anyone know what the name of the?
Don't know.
The position buys airtime.
No. If you're still, David Bartlett had to go, but he'll be coming back.
Okay.
So if you're still here when he reappears, he might know.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Great. That's all I need today. Happy 4th of July. Please stay safe, everybody.
Thanks a lot.
Happy 4th
Thanks a lot. Yay. Thanks. Okay, so I guess Mark O'Bannon, I guess we can do you.
Mark, Eileen, hi everybody.
Hey.
I recently discovered Zoom and I've been having fun with it. And then I looked and I noticed you doing Zoom meetings with the table. I'm like, how cool, right? So I'm in San Diego, although it may look like I'm in Egypt, but I do Photoshop, so I just did that for fun. One of the things I did with Zoom is I did the marketing class that I've been talking about for so long because I didn't have to find a venue and camera crew and all that stuff.
Right.
I just did it and it's finished and I have a link and there it is. I'm trying to hit just a moment. Now it's in the chat window. So it's a free marketing, about 90 minutes of marketing stuff. And you have to figure out how to adapt it to your particular business, but it's like a general marketing mindset kind of class so you know what to do. You know, well, it's just basically condensed a lot of information about marketing, and I put it into a like a 90-minute video. So yeah, it's on my YouTube channel, and I put a link up. And so, you know, that's the big reason I wanted to come up, and besides just saying hi, you know. So, and I'm busy writing, so that's pretty much all that's going on.
Great. So
Okay,
good.
well, yeah, well, welcome
Thanks.
and thanks. What a great offer. Okay,
Yeah.
yay.
Good to see
Yeah,
you.
check it out, and maybe it helps people. So, you know.
Cool. That's great.
Okay,
So, Eric, I guess you're up. Go for it.
And we do have some Mr. Sci-Fi
Oh, yeah,
questions whenever you're ready.
Let's take a question from Mr. Sci-Fi. Sorry, Adam, I forgot.
And then pick up Eric.
No worries.
Yeah.
We have a question from Scott Baker.
Okay.
Not the Space Command's Scott Baker.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Different Scott Baker, yes.
Yeah.
Who is, by the way, a fan of Michelle Hart, of her work on 10-Speed and Brown Shoe.
Wow.
Shout out to there. His question is, to your knowledge, has a sci-fi story ever been deliberately used to promote a specific idea, a practical one for the betterment of humanity or the world of living things as a whole?
Well, Roddenberry very much had that idea with Star Trek. I mean, you know, he was really trying to promote a better way of people interacting. So there was that sense in that way. I mean, the problem always is if you're proselytizing an idea too hard, it's usually at the sacrifice of story and character. So it comes off very, very dry and didactic. So that's always the challenge. I mean, Heinlein, I find often that Robert Heinlein in his books for adults gets far too political and didactic for my taste. But yeah, so that's sort of my answer to that. So, okay, Eric.
Well, some of the earliest books were utopian, right?
And dystopian.
Yeah, dystopian.
Yeah. But so go for it, Eric. Let's hear what you got to say. Go for it.
Hey guys, how you doing tonight?
Good.
My name is Eric Coker. I'm a writer and director. I have several shows on Amazon now currently, which is a blessing. I'm also in the process of starting my production process. We're trying to film, hopefully the end of this month. We're going to shoot our an hour-long TV show, our pilot. I did get some great advice from people last week on the table. I thank you all for that. I got several calls and several emails. I do apologize, like every actor didn't fit what we were looking for. But I thank everybody for at least applying. So I wasn't trying to be rude or anything like that, but we do have some, just character, specifics that we were going for. Did get some different help from casting people and things like that. And we're trying to put the production team together now. Hopefully we'll be filming at the end of the month, early August. That's what I'm currently doing. So I'm a writer, director, wear a lot of hats too, but I definitely love writing the most. I've been handling the COVID pretty well, just using this as an opportunity to figure out how what we can get done. So
that's great. Are you doing okay in terms of your production planning, getting around the new ever shifting COVID rules? How's that going?
I'm still going through it quite a bit. And I'm trying to figure out, how we can do this, because definitely want to be safe as possible. But the one good thing about the pilot, it's only 2 locations. And it's a cast of 5.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's really fantastic about that. And I'm still trying to figure out how we're going to do there's a sex scene, 2 sex scenes. So just trying to figure out how can we safely do that kind of contact. And with my budget too, how am I going to get the COVID testing done? Are we going to house them? Are we going to hotel them? Or different things like that. But it's a great opportunity. It's definitely not a stop. It's just a workaround. We just got to figure out how we're going to get this done and make sure the actors feel very comfortable. We are putting everything together now, so we're really in the pre-production stage. So I'm building the team. So I'm definitely looking for more hands and more help. But right now we're on a little grind schedule. So just planning everything.
Okay.
Great.
Well, yeah. So anything else you need?
No, just like I'll put some ads out probably on the table. Just
I can tell you. I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead, please. I'm sorry.
I said I'll probably put some ads out on the table for some other positions that we will have available. I'd love to work with some more people. You know, we don't want to overstaff for sure. We want a small staff as possible, but it'd be a great opportunity to work with some other people.
Now, I can tell you one thing. You were mentioning about a sex scene and all that. One of the things, we just finished a 2-hour episode of Space Command that we shot almost entirely during the pandemic. And the way we got around that, we didn't have sex scenes, but I cast people who were in the same family. So in other words, they were like we had a father and a son and their dog in one scene, and I cast the kid's father as the father and the kid's dog as the dog. And so particularly with actors who are already a couple, then you don't have to worry about those strictures because they're already living together and, you know, etc. So that's one way of doing it, you know, in terms of, you know, and also we shot in their own homes, of course. They were actually using their own cameras, you know, and so again, I think there are always, and even if you were going to have a different actor playing the husband or the wife, you can shoot around the other partner, so you could probably make it work with some creative editing. But
yeah, I was surprised. You know how it is with action scenes where somebody is slugged, and the way the camera is placed, if you've got a good DP and a good action guy who's blocking for you, I was surprised at how far apart actors can be and look like they're right up close. You know, when you have like 2 feet. And so since a lot of kissing and love scenes are from the back of the head, and then you can like start to move around and then pick up with editing, it's amazing how the camera can cheat.
Yes.
So if you sort of work that with the camera, you know, moving the camera, starting to move toward each other, even if they're in different rooms, you know, but it looks like they're moving right toward each other, and then, you know, a hand on the back of the head, and I think you can cheat quite a bit.
Okay. Well, we definitely really will have to, for sure. But I'm really trying to see what we can do to get it to work, you know. But I mean, a lot of it I think is going to be, you know, how well what I'm going to do is all that I can to keep it as safe as possible. But I'm going to, you know, see what I can do with the actors to just, you know, make them as comfortable as possible, you know.
Okay. That's good. But then in the end, they are just actors.
I don't know. I'm not even. I don't even want to laugh at that. You're gonna get me in trouble.
Are they Eric? Are they SAG? Are they SAG actors that you're using?
We were talking to a casting agent last week, and it's just like she said, we might just run into a lot more caveats and a lot more things that we just can't afford to do. So she said it might be a great time to do a non-union shoot. She said, especially if you wanted to just go ahead and get it done. And she said, you know, SAG is, of course, they're a union. They need to be as safe as possible, you know. So
yeah, they put out a whole bunch of guidelines. I mean, you don't have, even if you're going non-union, obviously you don't have to follow all of them, but they could be a good starting point.
Yeah, I did just recently get the guidelines, so I do have to go ahead and filter through it. I had someone, you know, talking to me about it already, but I'll definitely do it. I was hoping that this time we could get a named actor, and you know, but just right now they said you may not, especially because you have, you know, the 2 sex scenes too, so.
Okay.
I don't mind breaking in I don't really mind introducing new talent. You know, you wish you could get more exposure from having a lot of name talent, but I don't really mind really bringing new faces to the screen. So yeah.
That's great. Yeah, just be a little careful because because of the switchback. I mean, like in West Hollywood, they're getting like really strict, you know, finding people without face masks. Now I always wear a face mask out.
Yes.
Because I'm asymptomatic, but I don't know if I'm carrying it. So I always prefer to wear a face mask. But yeah, you know, keep your ears keep your ear out because they may be getting weird, you know, in terms of fines and stuff like that.
That's what I heard too. And they said one of the people was working with, she was just like, really watch out for that, because especially if it's too many people in the room, you have to set location, you got too many. I said, yeah, most definitely. I said that this is one of those scripts that I know we could get it to work. You know what I'm saying? So, and I said, you know what, if it bombs and we have to shoot it again, that's okay too. I'll take that as a learning experience, but I'm not expecting that. But I'm really trying to, like a lot of the scenes, there's only like 2 people in the room or 3 at the most. One of the scenes is outside, and then, the other location is a music studio. So we can put that pretty far apart too. So I'm really trying my best. Somebody said it might be the best because 3 people are actually having sex in mine. Mine's a little bit more than normal. I've seen everybody's head go, but it's a 3 people sex scene. They were just saying maybe if you just hotel them, and then maybe they'll feel more comfortable and things like that. But I mean, I hate for them not to see their family. We're gonna be shooting for 4 days too. So.
Okay. Well, good luck. Good luck with that. And for your crew and that, just what I've seen in gyms is, they have a box of gloves, and they have the hand sanitizers, and they've got the masks, they just got boxes of that stuff. So that's a little more reassuring. I know your actors can't do that, but everybody else can.
Yes. So true. But I agree with you. I mean, that's another reason just to really plan out the shots.
Yeah.
And as a director, I plan out the shots so much anyhow. So it's just something else to think about. But this is gonna be our new normal for a minute. So we might as well. I mean, we're not gonna shut down. Right now, it's a great opportunity to introduce a piece because no one else is filming.
Yeah.
So I have the new pilot. So yeah.
Okay, well, great. Okay, well, good luck. Good luck. Yay.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, Susan.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I did go to virtual cons, I don't know how they pronounce it, but I've always wanted to go there. Now they had a lot of technical glitches, so I didn't see as many people as I was scheduled to see. One of them, we got really clever. One guy from the UK, we got real clever and went on what's that? It's another thing, Skype. We went on Skype instead because they didn't work. But I did get my scripts, a couple of scripts to some really good people, and we'll see what happens. Also, I'm very busy making a pitch deck.
Okay.
A really good one, because we still need a Black female director and a Black female executive producer. We think we might have one who would do both, but she's very difficult because she's so busy. As she does have the new script. I came up with a really brand new script because I added some Frederick Douglass scenes, and I love working with him. And we might have Bondi Curtis Hall in that role. He's the one who played Reverend Green in Harriet. I don't know those of you that saw the movie Harriet.
Sure.
He was Reverend Green. But anyway, he would be great as Frederick Douglass. So we're working on it. I hope we can get this particular woman. Her name is Tamika Lamison, but I don't know. So if anybody knows of a Black female director, executive producer, let me know, because I'm not a sure thing. It's not totally fixed with Tamika. I just hope it will be.
Tamika's terrific. She's the creator.
Oh, you know her.
Of,
right.
Yeah, well, a little bit. I did a little bit of editing for her a couple of years back for one of her Make a Film Foundation presentations, and yeah, she's great.
Yeah, I love the things she does on the outside like that. That's a really great.
Yeah. I know her too. Give her my love from Carol Field.
Oh, thank you, Carol.
Yeah,
it's great to know.
Yeah.
Do you know her pretty well?
Enough. She'll be very good.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
I love her to death, but it's just like I said, she said if we hadn't heard from her by the end of June to get a hold of her, and I did by the end of June, but then I'm still waiting to hear back from her.
Yeah.
But she has to read the script, and I just, so many times, you get the script to them and it just takes forever before they finally read it.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
but I hope she will, and I hope she'll love it. And she does love the story. She knows what it's based on. And she did say, I love the story. If she loves the story, she'll love my script.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yay.
Was there anything else?
Anything else?
I think that's, I wanted to ask you guys, what is your plan for the Kickstarter? How much do you manage you will be able to get from that? Is that a nosy question or is it a
no, our initial target was 48,000, but the problem is that my webmaster, who I thought had come aboard, has not come aboard. And so I'm trying to learn how to run it myself, and that's not something you want to learn on the fly. He really totally left me in the lurch. And so I may just close the campaign down if I'm unable to turn it around, because it's it's really a shame. I was hiring him. We had worked everything out, and then that happened. So anyway, but we'll see what happens.
But then he'd restart again, get a running start and
again.
Restart.
Yeah, not to sound negative. So, but yeah, we'll tell more about that later. So
yeah,
great.
I'm really impressed with all that you guys are doing. It's
thanks.
fantastic, and yet giving us this time. It's great.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. Okay, yay. Is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
Yes. We have another question from Scott Baker. This is an interesting one. Are the Hugos an award which someone can lobby for? I think
Yes, but there's an art to it, and but it's fascinating when you really get into it, because when I was nominated for Hugo, I found that I lost by 80 votes. So just 80 people, if they had voted for World Enough in Time, I would have taken home a Hugo. So yes, you can lobby for it. And in retrospect, I should have probably brought my attention to that. I had no idea it was that that small a number. That would have.
I think the industry term is for your consideration, but
yes. But but yeah. So one can, but the way to find out how to do that effectively would be to reach out to writers who have won it and say, what did you do? So that you don't piss people off, you don't offend them. And so that's the thing. But but because it's science fiction convention, the authors are there, like at the World Science Fiction Convention. I mean, when it's not a pandemic, you can actually sit them down, and over a meal or whatever, and find out all that information. So writers and authors are much more approachable than like Hollywood people. So they're really a delight to talk to. So let's see. So I guess Lydia Torres, I guess you're next. You're up, Lydia. Go for it. Oh, we can't hear you yet. There. Are you on? Lydia?
No. Still muted.
We can't hear you.
Still muted.
You have to unmute. There you go. Yay.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, we still can't hear you. Huh. We can't hear you.
Oh dear.
That's weird.
Is your mic on? Oh dear.
No, we can't hear you. Huh. Strange. Uh-oh.
Oh no, you're muted again. Oh
well,
no.
Huh.
Oh no.
Do you want to see what nope. Is your mic enabled?
Is your mic connected?
Yes.
Your mic is connected. Shoot, we're not hearing you.
Maybe it's a bad connection.
Is this
You're using your laptop?
Huh.
Well, should we go to Thane, and then if you can solve,
we'll try. Yeah.
We can come back. Sure. Sorry about that, Lydia. So Thane, go for it.
Hi there. You may have heard there's been a giant earthquake, and now I own beachfront property in Pasadena.
Jesus, really?
Yeah, it's great. It's been a busy week trying to get life taken care of, I guess, is the answer. But about 2 hours ago, I stopped at the post office and mailed off all my tax forms and all the checks, and everything is clear. So now it's just put away all those things till next year. And that's a really big relief. And a variety of other things. I took a voiceover class with a really good instructor from the East Coast. Sort of the opposite problem. His class is from 7 to 10, and so it was from 4 to 7 on this side. But in the process, it came up about how expensive is it to build a booth to use at home. And I had fussed around with that a little bit, and I managed to open my mouth to my manager who instigated the course. Said, "Oh, I can develop plans. I can show you plans for to build a voiceover booth that you can do for $50 by spending a little time at Home Depot and Harbor Freight." And she said, "Well, go do it." And so I took a break last night from the taxes and got that together. And it's really a step, including the direct links to Home Depot for the exact things you have to order and so on. And it's kind of like Tinker Toys. When I was a kid, there were Tinker Toys. And because everything is, you can take it apart, you can put it in a bag and take it with you to somebody else's house or some other place. So that was a little creative effort to take away the worrying about the tax business. And submitted for a couple of roles, and I just got a notice of an audition coming up on Thursday. It'll be in person, but social distancing and by appointment only and so on. So I think things are starting to loosen up a little bit, although when you look at the numbers, my health economist life kicks in and say, we're in deep trouble. And we really need to be very careful, especially those of us who are over a certain age or have compromised immune system or whatever. And as we've seen lately, it's hitting young people hard. And so with hospital beds 96 or 98% full, we're back to tents and let the old guys die. And that's basically what it is. And so, it's interesting times, and the creative efforts have to be kind of restricted to in-house, or like you've been able to do with filming one person at a time in different places, different cameras, pulling it together.
And I don't know if you've seen the episode, Thane, but you should definitely check it out on Mr. Sci-Fi, because we have you turn into a baby in the episode.
I remember that. Now that the taxes are done, I'm going to have a life again. So yes.
Yes, you'll really enjoy it. So that's great. So anything else for now?
No, I think it was John was looking for actors. I am an actor. I put my contacts and my reel and so on up on the chat there, and always looking for new challenges, and hopefully we will find a solution for all this soon.
Yeah. Okay.
So stay safe, enjoy the holiday. It's going to be different, although my neighborhood, they seem to set off bigger fireworks than they do at the Rose Bowl. So, especially at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yes. Well, good. Well, stay safe.
Yes, you too.
So, Adam,
and happy anniversary.
Thank you. So, Adam, do we have another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes, we have a question from Mark Lungo.
Hi, Mark.
Who asks, Mark and Elaine, do you ever give each other critical feedback? Being surrounded by yes men is bad. That's how Jar Jar Binks happens.
Yes. No, we absolutely do.
No, absolutely, because we're walking along this beautiful hillside with lots of holes, and we'll take turns saying, "Watch out for that hole."
Yeah.
And so yes, if it weren't for that, we would be in a lot of trouble.
Yes, exactly. But we absolutely do. So I guess Glenn, you're next. Go for it.
And by the way, I happen to know Jar Jar Binks. He's a hell of a guy. The actor anyway.
Well, we've been trying to get him into Space Command. I'd love to. I think that'd be great. So, but go ahead, Glenn, please. Oh, we can't hear you. You have to unmute your mic.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hi. Well, Sam Whitehall invited me here.
Great.
Sam and I are in the same acting class with John Steinbeck. We studied film with him. More importantly, though, I'm a writer, director, producer of a movie called Tested. I'd gone to Taiwan where I got spiritual initiation by monks a few years ago in the wilderness. And it was kind of revealed to me to write this story called Tested, which is, I play this enlightened Scottish minister who's trying to unify mankind. Because we have a great fragmentation of unity now. I tap into the ecological chain breaking. I tap into the big pharma, the greenhouse effect, and I do it in a parable. It's a drama-based story. I met with Nick Valiente. He's a guy from the Green Book. He liked it. He's pushing me to PureFlix. I met with Daryl Marshak. He's pushing it to Hallmark. But there's only one thing wrong with this. All these companies want to take my project and cookie cutter into a commercial vehicle. I've also written 14 episodes based on the pilot. It's like a TV Bible where the main antagonist and protagonist, they form a PI firm, and it's called Macintosh, where we investigate things under a spiritual melody, and it's a cross between Columbo and Kung Fu. I interlace it with spiritual wisdom.
Sure.
Because right now we're in a very critical age. In the chat box, I put my production company, JJ Productions, and there is indeed a link to the trailer. In there. And the movie itself, it's a hybrid faith-based drama.
Sure.
And the theme and intention is to liberate mankind, to give the human being back their dignity and a choice. In other words, all the wisdom I learned through my meditation and meeting the monks and getting initiated into these spiritual teachings, I interwove it into the script. So it's like a stepping stone to heaven.
Great.
So with the timing we're at now, with the COVIDs, the riots, and the books of Revelation, I think it's like Rocky for the soul. I feel very strongly the timing's impeccable for this. It's nothing to do with self-aggrandizement, because it came from a labor of love. When I wrote the thing, my hand was moving. I wasn't thinking. It was channeled completely. None to do.
Well, here's some questions. I mean, you said that people you've been submitting it to want to make it more commercial. Have you been submitting it to companies that do spiritually oriented material?
Well, here's across a class 22. I'm trying to keep the creative intent, because faith-based is faith-based. I got knocked back through Christian channels because when you see the trailer, the philosophy I've learned, even though I'm a Scottish minister in this, it's kind of based on me, not being a minister, but my background.
Right.
One of the key components of this story is I'm creating a unification summit where I'm bringing in Buddhists, Jews, Christians, and everything, and explaining how God's in everyone. And these are labels and concepts that are causing fragmentation. So that's one of the reasons that I'm getting kicked back by the studios and these organizations, because I'm sticking to the truth.
Yes, but the point I'm trying to make is that rather than submitting to corporate entities or companies that are antithetical to what your purpose is, you might look toward production companies that are in alignment with your purpose, because you really only have two ways you can go with this. You can either specifically target yourself for companies and producers that are on your wavelength already. Okay, for instance, like well, I don't know, possibly, but the other way of doing it is just saying, well, I'm going to pull it together and make it myself. Because
well, see, that's exactly it. Yeah. I'm trying to get a fundraiser. I have got two different budgets. I need a line producer for both of those. I've got one where I can, because I've got a studio in Selmar for $800 a day. I've got the church. I've got some guerrilla shooting locations. I've had 2 casting sessions. I've got an investor from a doctor. This is an accident waiting to happen. So the low budget, I can film this for 50 grand, basically, because it's been 2 years in the making. I've got, the deck, the financial plans, I've got the specs, the permits, everything, just ready to go now. The other budget is about 1.5 million, where I'm meeting a consortium of investors to try and convince them to do that. But then again, everyone wants their fingers in the pie. And
Yes.
knowledge is experiential. It's not cerebral. It's not about putting people in the
Right.
seats. This is about passing a message on to humanity to raise
Right.
the consciousness and unify mankind.
I mean,
Because we're in a very inclement time.
If it was me, I would just find the way to make it and not run after investors or too hard. I mean, the internet gives you an opportunity to have something go viral, and I would seize that opportunity and just make it happen, pull it together.
How would you do that specifically? Because I was thinking of performing like on TikTok, creating a show for social media where I would put this spiritual wisdom into parables and try and create a short meditation after it to deal with maladies of like depression or confusion, what the human race is afflicted with.
Right.
And then hopefully sponsors would land on my space.
Awesome.
So if anyone here knows anything about social media and how to set up a little show, that would be helpful. If anyone's a good line producer, that would be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone knows to do a Kickstarter,
Okay.
that would be helpful. These are the things I'm looking for. And I'm pretty optimistic and confident with the way, because there's stuff in Taiwan, there's stuff in Europe, you know, it's got global appeal like the Passion of the Christ, plus the timing's impeccable.
Right.
And it resonates to what's is needed right now.
Well, I have my own YouTube channel, and I have found that very, very useful. I've had millions of hits. I have over 60,000 subscribers. It really gives me a way of reaching a worldwide audience. And then I post anywhere from once a week to once per day, and I can have it be whatever length I want it. So that, and then I'm also on Instagram a little bit, and Facebook and Twitter, but YouTube is my primary way of reaching my audience. And so I think if you just started there, that might be a very good way to do it, because it's free. You can have your own YouTube channel for free, and it gives you enormous reach with no outlay of cash. So I would.
How do you set that up though? You're saying it's free, it's easy.
Yeah.
I've never done, I'm not a social media guy. How does anyone know how to set that up?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's easy.
Do you have a Google account?
You what?
Do you have a Google account like
No.
Gmail?
No.
That's
I have
how
a typewriter and a pen.
That's
I'm
how
old school, man.
you'd start with setting up a Google Gmail account.
Well, if anyone's interested in helping me,
Mm-hmm.
I'd appreciate it, you know, and I can get you involved in the project. There's room for producers, there's room for product placement. If anyone has a product they want to push, I can put it in, stuff like that.
And where are you based? Where are you?
I'm in Northridge, California.
Yeah, so you're a local kid.
Yeah.
So I mean, the thing I would say is, you have a computer clearly, because you're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Google account.
I would just go on YouTube. It's youtube.com. It's very easy. Go on YouTube and then just type in, how do I start a YouTube channel? And that'll lead you to all these tutorials. It's not hard at all. It's super, super easy.
What about Kickstarter? Do you know how to do that?
Kickstarter, if you go on to Kickstarter and study the successful campaigns, that will teach you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are a lot of unsuccessful campaigns, but you'll see that there's a very specific approach. The approach is, if you don't help me, this wouldn't happen. You're not looking for an investor, you're looking for a family.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see how there's a range of the campaigns that are successful, but basically it's that you're asking for somebody to join in like a family. You often it's like decent perks that are related to what you're doing. But first you want to go on there, but it does take a tremendous amount of work, because you're trying to gather a lot of people to get you money and a lot of outreach before you actually push the button to start the campaign. But there are a lot of people at the table who have done it, but start out by going on to Kickstarter and then just put out a message to the table and say, can somebody walk me through this? And you'll get a lot of help, because a lot of people have done this.
What about synergetic production companies, a hybrid faith and drama? Do you have any names of low budget production companies I could call?
Not offhand, but again, if you do a Google search, you'll find them.
You'll find them on the net. There's a lot of them. As you found out, that you have to be careful that they don't try to proselytize one specific religion over another.
Yeah.
But I mean, the one thing about doing an independent film first is that there are so many people who are hawking spirituality that are a little bit marginal.
Well, yeah.
You know, they're a little bit marginal in their thinking.
Well,
and so if you establish yourself as something that people can really connect to, and they find is grounded in something that they can live, then a lot of other things can come more naturally off of that. I mean, if you made a movie or if you had any product that people could peruse where it was clear and it didn't seem like airy fairy, it seemed something they could get their mind around.
See, here's the thing. You're the brand. And so just if you get a YouTube channel, if you start posting and just talking, it doesn't cost any money, and you can start gathering people. People will start paying attention, and it builds. I mean, I had no idea of starting a YouTube channel. I was just having lunch a couple years ago with a friend of mine who was the showrunner on Walking Dead, and he said, "You know so much about science fiction, you should have your own YouTube channel." And I realized it was a great way to have content that would reach an audience that I could then use to do whatever I wanted to do. And so it was very, very useful, and it's super, super easy. I mean, honest to God. And so just go online and you'll find all of your answers. But I would stop trying to find other people to do the heavy lifting. I would just say to yourself, what's the easiest way for me to get this message out? And the easiest way is just sit in front of your computer, turn on the camera and talk and put it on the internet, and you've got it. That's all. I mean, it's I would suggest.
What about the line producing budget though? Because people want to see a budget. Are there any line producers here?
Yeah, there are. I mean, there are line producers.
That's what I need to talk to then. I'll pay them, but I just need to know. I need to have them call me.
Okay, well, there's a guy named David Bartlett who's going to come back shortly. He's a producer. He might be a guy to talk to. But
if you get onto the email, there are definitely line producers. Just be careful of their credits. It's a very hard job.
And it's very difficult. I understand.
Yeah. And so just make sure that they have appropriate experience, because there are line producers and there are people who think they're line producers.
Well, but it's a rule of thumb. Try as much as you possibly can to not work with idiots.
Yeah. Well, for a line producer, that's where it's very important to do due diligence and find out for whom they've worked before and make a few calls.
Yeah.
Because it's such a hard job that people who are good are worth their weight in gold. And so just get a few references and make a few calls. I've been surprised if somebody wasn't happy with somebody, they let you know. They let you know when you do your due diligence. Or if they're happy, they'll also let you know. But if they've had a bad experience, they'd say, they told you to call me. I got that, So I've been warned away.
Yeah. So great. Well, but yeah, and David Bartlett will be back, and you can reach out to him, and Adam can also connect you up with.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, 3 cheers. So I guess, Kira, you're next. Go for it.
We do have some more.
Mr. Sci-Fi, sure.
Yeah.
You bet.
Jumping in, yeah. We've got a question from Corey Oakes, who asks, is there a novelization of the pilot and future episodes available for purchase anywhere?
Yes, Maya Bonhoff has written the novel. It's completed. We just have to put it up where people can buy it. So we'll do that in the next few weeks. And yeah, it's a wonderful book. It covers the pilot. It bridges between the pilot and the second 2-hour story. So it's really fun. And she's a wonderful writer. She's written a number of Star Wars novels. And she worked with me on the Magic Time series of novels. She wrote the second one. And so, yeah, absolutely. And again, to all the Mr. Sci-Fi fans, definitely check out the first episode if you haven't seen it of Space Command. Watch the 2-hour episode Ripple Effect that we just posted. You can also watch all of the panels we had on the Space Command online convention on the past weekend. I mean, there's a lot of content to now peruse. And check out our Kickstarter campaign and, pledge some bucks, because that'll make it all keep going. So, okay, so now, Kira, it's your turn. Go for it.
Okay, hello. So, East Coast, how are you? This is Akira. My name is Akira. Originally from Tokyo, Japan. I moved here to Los Angeles 2017. And now I'm working on, what I'm working on is one big thing is the visa ratio, because I'm having that O1 visa and it valid for 3 years, and now I'm trying to reissue that because it will be expired on next November, and now I'm talking with my lawyer and arguing what I really need to do more for the next petition. That one thing, one big thing. And normally I'm doing absolutely, I'm a film composer, composing for the indie film, and also the teaching guitar and teaching Japanese language online. Yeah, that it's so far for me. Nothing special, just doing every day, just one by one, step by step, small things, and just waiting for the something gonna happen. Just I'm happy to be showing up here, and meeting you guys, and that's great. This is a great community, and I'm really happy to be with you, and I really appreciate you guys. So thank you very much. That's it.
Okay, yay, 3 cheers. So Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes, we have, that's right, another question from Scott Baker.
Great.
Who asks, have you done or have you considered doing a master class on sci-fi writing? If you're familiar with the company master class that does.
Oh, that.
There's lots of high profile celebs that do those.
Yeah, a lot of my friends have done them, like Neil Gaiman and so forth.
Right.
And Neil deGrasse Tyson, of course, who's in Space Command now.
But
I haven't done it. Yeah, exactly. My name's not Neil. But I'd like to. I mean, I should probably reach out to them and say, hey, how's about it? But you never know. But yeah, that would be fun. That'd be a lot of fun. Excuse me. So let's see. Mark Gushowitz. Yay, the best Gushowitz we've got.
The only Gushowitz you got.
Yes.
Hi, how you doing?
Great.
Okay, so my name's Mark. Like he said, I'm an editor. I'm pretty busy working for Yosemite National Parks, which is a job that Dave recommended me to, Dave Edison. I will be talking tonight to Earl, who is actually going to be here a little bit later tonight, Earl Smith, after he finishes with a student, about sound and music on my short film, which we're moving forward on. Graphics are still being slowly moved upon for the short film, so hopefully that'll be done soon, but probably a little bit later than that. But it's going good, because as long as it's moving forward, that's all that really matters.
Good.
We put up our podcast, our first episode of the podcast today, which stars Mr. Mark Zickery in an interview. And pretty interesting interview. Mark knows how to tell a story, and tell a story. I was hoping that, I don't know if there's any sound people here, because I had a question about sound. I was hoping Dave Bartlett or Earl would be here, because
David's going to be back. David Bartlett's going to be back.
I just had an issue, because like when you're editing, in 5-minute increments, you don't really notice any sound problems. And this was the first time I had done a recording in my office, and I had it in my microphone in a real weird space to try and not get the traffic. And I noticed finally when I played the podcast all the way through that depending on how I faced, it sounds very different every time you come back to me. And I want to see if they can help me figure out, tell me how I can, avoid that happening, because it just is weird. But the podcast is good. We've got quite a few people downloading it already. And I got a review from an or I should say a Talking Apes person who has migrated over to the podcast, who is also a big fan of Mark's, because he knew exactly who you were. And he gave a good review to the podcast, really enjoyed your stories and your insights. So that's good. And we recorded with Stephen L. Sears. I'm told the L is incredibly important to say when you say his name. And it was an interesting interview, because we don't want the podcast to go more than an hour and a half. And we talked to him for 2.5 hours about Princess Xena. So it was an interesting podcast I'm going to have to cut down. Unfortunately, he used a little tiny mic, which he warned me about. So the sound's not great, but the interview itself is.
Yes.
So I think it'll be worth it. He was a great guy, real interesting to talk to. And I got to tell you something, I'm working on my short film, and I'm doing all this stuff, but talking to these people, I'm learning a lot. Talking with Steve was really interesting. I learned a lot of information, and I learned a lot from you, Mark. And we've already had a preliminary conversation with our next guest, who's a stuntman.
Cool.
And it's just, as much as I want to get a lot of fans and everything attached to this, and I want people to learn, people to listen, I'm really kind of enjoying the schooling I'm getting.
Yes,
from it.
that's the point of it.
Yeah, yeah, you know, and it's kind of like, you know, hey, I'm networking with people and all that, but they're just things that I'm learning that I just would have never thought about, you know.
Yeah.
So it's been a really fascinating experience. I wish I'd done it a lot sooner when you first recommended we do people do this. So,
Yeah.
but we're doing it now.
Great.
So that's it. That's oh, podcast has been accepted on a ton of formats, including Stitcher, Spotify, and we're just waiting for Apple. And we have a website if people want to download it. It's called the Screen Forum. And please, if you listen to it, let me know what you thought of it, because I want to make sure it gets better and better and better. And some of these little issues I'm having, like with the sound on my mic, people are telling me don't worry about it, nobody's going to notice it. And so it'll make me feel better if people listen to it and say, nah, the interview was great. You know, I not only want to know what's right with the podcast, but what you think maybe could be improved, so that as we go, it can get better and better and better.
Great. Well, 3 cheers.
That's it.
Yay.
Thank you.
So, Adam, do we have another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes. Well, I thought we did. Oh, yes, there it is. We have a question from Jay Strikes, who asks or says, "There's a rumor that a new He-Man live-action movie is in the making. Any truth to that?"
Probably. They've been having He-Man movies in development for decades. You know, and the reason they're asking me that is because I, of course, wrote for the original He-Man TV show, and in fact, if you buy the box set, there, I think Michael Reeves and I did commentaries on it. So, but yeah, you know, the challenge with any of these properties, because, you know, every studio is looking for franchises, something that's already popular that they can kind of piggyback on. But we all know that most of the time they do that, the movie or the TV show they create is terrible. And it's a miracle if they do a good job. I mean, so, you know, maybe someone will really come aboard who gets it. He-Man would be an extremely difficult property to do as a movie, simply because it's such a ridiculous looking character. You know, with this little you know, Dutch page boy blonde hair and his big muscular physique. And when they interviewed me about writing for He-Man, they said, "What do you think of the look of He-Man?" And I said, "If you oiled him up, he could fit into any bar in West Hollywood." And so, you know, it's and they didn't use that line in the box set, surprisingly. But you know, I just yeah. Well, good luck. I mean, I'll watch it if they make it. So let's see. I guess Kenny, fine, you're up. Go for it.
Oh,
there you go.
There you go. Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, good. Hi, I'm Kenny. I'm a longtime member of the New York table. So I'm phoning in from New York, from Queens. Hi.
Thanks for joining us. It's late over there.
It's late. It's 9:49.
Yeah, wow, okay.
Yeah. So I write and produce I write and produce and perform, but I write and produce primarily musical theater, Broadway, off-Broadway. I also create and perform my own work, one person show, different characters, cabaret-like things, a lot of stuff based in musical theater, or one person comedy, kind of Lily Tomlin-esque kind of things. So during this, I've been quarantined for 3 months in Queens. It was very intense for a couple of months. You know, it's more relaxed now, but I'm still being very careful here.
Of course.
And during this time, I've produced a bunch of short little films and wrote a 15-minute musical about the quarantine. And I've been doing a weekly web broadcast, kind of web series of a character of mine named Goldie Goldstein.
Huh.
So that's Goldie Goldstein, Queen of the Quarantine. And in the long run, I'm going to, you know, develop that into it. I was developing it as a show, an off-Broadway or possibly one day Broadway show. But I'm also thinking much more now in terms of a bunch of things I'm working on, directing them towards film and TV, because theater, Broadway is going to be shut down for at least the year and possibly longer. And then it's going to take a while before, theater really gets up and running in New York. And I have a background in theater and film from years ago. That's what I studied and I love. I just wound up doing much more theater than film. So I have a couple musicals that I'm writing. Now I'm writing up some decks to pitch my musicals. One of them is called Endangered, and it played off Broadway. It's about a kid reporter and a group of endangered animals from around the world who get stranded at the New York Zoo when Superstorm Beyonce hits New York. And it's about climate change and endangered animals, but very uplifting, and it had a really nice run in 2017. So I'll just mention that as, I'd love to pitch that as an animated film, which I haven't done before. It's got great characters. One of the reviews said it was like Lion King without the Hamlet.
Great.
Yeah,
Great.
so that's one. And then I have a musical I've been working on for years that I produced in 2015 in DC called Truth. And it's based on the life of Sojourner Truth, that narrative of Sojourner Truth. So we were working on bringing that towards Broadway. And now we're, also working on developing a film deck and looking at it from that point of view. So that's what I'm up to. I wanted to mainly say hi and.
Would you want to put like any of your one person show up on television or?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I've been broadcasting it on the web once a week since the beginning of the quarantine.
Great.
But I'd love to put it. It'd be a fantastic TV show.
Good.
It's very interactive and improvisational. And Goldie Goldstein is like, she's a unique character because she has a lot of different flavors. It's a lot of spirituality, but she is really like a Jewish Dame Edna is the best reference. From old school Miami Beach, who is now, Queen of Queens and Queen of the Quarantine. So it's very interactive. It's musical. It's, musical theater. My original vision for it was that it would be, my real vision for it as a TV show was that it would be set in a place like Goldie's, a club, and it would engage a lot of real cabaret performers and so like a semi-reality show in the sense of it's live and real improvisation and interaction, but there's also kind of an element of Cheers and an element of Curb Your Enthusiasm. But really, it's really fun. And there's so many super talented people in the cabaret world who I know and interact with, who you don't normally get to see on TV. But it's a tremendous wealth of talent and joyful kind of fun, just fun and mischief and a great message. So yeah, I'd love to develop that for TV.
Cool.
Okay, great. Well, we just finished doing Ripple Effect, with people just combining people. Shooting from their own home, and it seemed to work out pretty well.
There's a lot of possibilities. I mean, again, sometimes if you don't resist the tide, but you go with the tide and find out where opportunity lies, it can really be enormously helpful. And if anyone wants to see what you can do during a pandemic, just go on Mr. Sci-Fi and watch the 2-hour Ripple Effect episode we just posted. And it's very different from the other Space Command episodes we've done, but it's really fun, and it was really fun doing it and coming up with ways to use our stars. Because remember, all the actors are stuck at home for the most part, so they want to do stuff. And,
and using green screen to cut people together who were one
in
was
different countries.
One was in Georgia, one was in Saskatchewan. And it looks like they're in the same room chatting with each other.
Right, they play father and daughter.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great. But so anything else you need?
I'd love to chat with someone who's done that. I mean, I have a whole idea that I have a whole concept that I wrote up, and I was going to just try and do it with some New York actors, but same kind of thing. It takes place over Zoom, and it's kind of the concept of a startup company that got derailed because of the pandemic. So now they're trying to, it's humorous that they're trying to come on and figure out how to rejigger it, you know, in order to work online. But it's humorous because, you know, it was kind of a doomed idea to begin with, you know, and now the sponsors, the head of the company and the guy who put the money up is the only one who doesn't get that. And then also my part of the idea is that then stuff starts to come out because people are at home on Zoom, they're safe in their own home. So they really, he's like, I really want to hear what everyone's going through. Like, really tell me what's true. And then they really start telling him how they feel about him. So yeah, that's what I love, just to speak as someone who's done that. And I guess any advice or template or model of pitching like a TV show like that, like put a deck for like a TV show like that.
There's a lot of different ways to make that work. It's tricky now because there are conferences where you can go and meet the showrunners and meet the executives. That's not happening right now, of course.
Right.
But basically the thing that helps a lot is if you can build a fan base before you pitch a show. Because if you have millions of hits on your channel or a successful anything, that's persuasive to them. But in lieu of that, I mean, the main thing with anything is you have to create content that's entertaining. And if they're entertained by it, that helps a lot. And then it's just, you know, reaching out to them. Because again, the executives, a lot of them are home, or if they're in their offices, they're feeling, you know, they're crawling out of their skins and they want to be diverted and entertained. And so just kind of targeting who's doing programming like what you want to do is a good idea. The whole trick is to find people on your wavelength. And you know, doesn't guarantee anything, but it helps. And
we had a friend before the COVID. He was at a convention and he created interstitials, and he sat down with a group of people. Like they kept saying nobody did interstitials. Nobody wanted interstitials. Nobody did interstitials. So he'd given up, and they were all just sitting around waiting for the next event. And he said, "Oh, you want to see this just for fun?" And so he put up his interstitials, and suddenly everybody was figuring a way to put in his interstitials. So once you create this stuff, it's amazing. You can really change people's minds.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing. I've created a ton of content during this last 3 months.
That's
so
great.
I'll really be able to mine that. And then it's just really figuring out how to put it out there in an effective way.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah. Great. Well, cool. Well, yay.
Thank you.
So
Great to be here.
Thanks. Do you have another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes. Great question from Wilhelm Sowers, who says, Black Star was a groundbreaking series when it aired in the early 80s in terms of storytelling, character depth, and overall feel. If created today, how would it differ from the original?
Completely. The way animation is made nowadays is totally different. But actually, I enjoyed writing Black Star much more than I enjoyed writing He-Man. And He-Man came immediately after. It was from Filmation, the same company. Michael Reeves and I wrote, I think, the entire series of Black Star, the two of us. And it was great fun. It was about an astronaut who ends up on an alien planet and becomes sort of Conan the Barbarian, more or less, with all these hobbits that were called Trobbits. And it was fun. It was great fun. So they do it now, you know, well, you know, it'd be good, bad, or indifferent, but the animation style would be completely different because they don't use that limited animation that they did back in the late 70s. So okay, cool. Let's see. So Judith Smiley, do you want to take your turn, Judith, coming in out of the darkness as you are? So unmute your mic.
Unmute your mic.
Can you do it?
Can you unmute, Judith?
She's trying. There we go.
Okay.
Hello,
Okay.
technological Smiley strikes again. Kudos to you guys. I was glued to my chair all Sunday, except for when I went to do the laundry. Avec les doggles, who were also, believe it or not, were absolutely fascinated by the whole thing. They just sat there and went, Anyway, I've been kind of busy. I took the same workshop that Thane did with a voiceover. My manager's been yelling at me to get my practical stuff out. And the guy really liked me. And he wants my voiceover demo. So I need someone to help me cut it. I just have to cut a few commercials. I have to cut them and squeeze everything into, because I have a lot of commercials on my demo and they're all nationals, you know? So, and I need to record one more spot. So I need some help with that. I'm called David Bartlett this morning. Adam, and I've ordered, oh, by the way, Adam, I ordered the Yeti. So that should be here soon. And I'll be doing that. And then I'm taking another workshop next Thursday with a casting director who casts a lot of soaps.
And I can help you with those, Judith. I can help you with that.
Can you?
But what's your time frame?
ASAP.
Yeah, I can't do it right now. I can't do it right away. I'm actually going on vacation tomorrow, so.
Oh, for how long?
Until Tuesday.
Oh.
I'll be back Tuesday evening.
Well, that's no problem.
That's no problem. I could do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I've got to get the thing into 1 minute, and voiceover wise, I'm all over the map. You guys have worked with me. You know how many characters I've got in my head.
Yes.
So, and then I'm going to be working on I want to get my demo done. My filming demo. I have a problem. I don't think Raven wants to come here because of the COVID. But I know that Tom Katz has just shot a demo, shot a film, and I know James Monier is shooting. So I want to, again, I'll talk to David Bartlett about that.
Yes,
I want to get this, I want to get it done. It's been hovering for a while now. Let me get that done, because then I can make money.
That would be okay.
You remember money?
Yeah, David was here earlier and he asked if you had joined up yet. But he had to leave. So
That's okay. I'll talk to him tomorrow. He's my Space Command watch.
Hey.
Cool.
Yeah, my Space Command. So I'm working on that as well as my project. I'm working on pitches for both Apocalyptic and My Little Pet, which is really adorable. And I got so many things going on, but I want to get the practical stuff out.
Yes.
So, because my manager is nudging me and she's been really sweet. She's hung on for quite some time through all the ill health. And now that I'm back on top, I want to get out, because I understand that they're doing a lot of casting for voiceovers, and particularly animation. So I want to get going on that, and that's it.
Okay. Yay.
Congratulations.
Cheers.
Thank you. And I'm moving. It's about time.
Good.
I've only had 7 surgeries in 6 years. That's all.
There you go. So Adam, did you have another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
We do.
Let me unmute. Let me mute myself.
Yeah, that sounds like a very good idea, Judith.
I got you, Judith.
Okay.
There you go. So we have another question from Scott Baker.
Great.
Who asks, when you're refining a story idea, how do you decide the scope of the setting and time interval to match your ideas?
It depends on what medium you're working in. For instance, if you're working in television, you have to know the budget, and you have to know what you can do for the budget you have. Obviously, visual effects can help a lot, and keeping up with the technology can help a lot. But in a novel, of course, you aren't limited in that way, but you are limited in terms of how you structurally tell a story. So each, or if you're working in radio, it's like, okay, what's going to tell the story? It's fun because, of course, I've worked in radio and TV and movies and books, and now comic books with the graphic novel, Space Command graphic novel. They all have their different requirements, and part of it is you have to know the skills of your collaborators. So if you're in a comic book, if you're working with an artist, you have to choose an artist who can do the vision that you see in your head. And so there's no one answer, but as you become more of a professional, you know how to write to a budget. You know how to write to the strengths and weaknesses of any given medium. Amateurs frequently will write something that would cost $100 million, and then they're pitching it to companies that might make films for like $100,000, and they're screwed because they can't deliver on what they're trying to get made.
You might mention the new technology you were talking about this morning.
Yeah. There's this amazing technology that The Mandalorian is using, where they basically have a 75-foot wide and curved LED screen, and they're generating their visual effects on that screen with the actors in the foreground, and it's hooked into a gaming engine, so they can move the camera, and the parallax of the background moves to match the camera's angle. It's really cool. I very much want to work utilizing that technology. It's really fun, really interesting, and one of our team is building one of those kind of studios now. So that's very very exciting. So yeah, cool. So let's see. So Larry Altmeyer, you're up. Go for it.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, welcome back, Mark and Elaine. And let's see. No, literally within the last half hour, I was doing a self-tape. It was just a classroom assignment for my on-camera coach. Recently, I've been on an Android phone for the last 8 years. I just got an iPhone, which is a pain in the neck. It's different from the Android, but I got it really because I wanted to have a better camera, because I think the old one was a bit blurry. So that was the reason I got it. And so we'll find out if when I sign off from here, I will do a quick edit, send it back to my on-camera coach, and we'll see. Yeah, I guess one nice thing that happened this week was there's a well-known casting director. I think he's a commercial casting director. His name is Michael Sanford, which a lot of people have heard of, a lot of actors have heard of. And I think that I saw him last year at SAG. It was on a casting access workshop. I did a scene read with him, but I went to a Zoom workshop with him this year. It was probably a month or a month and a half ago. And apparently he told us in the workshop, send me your stuff. So that night I went home and emailed him, thanking him for the interesting talk and sending him my comedy clip about dropped cell phone calls, which is really funny. It has a Cricket Wireless button, but that I always had to put a disclaimer on saying this was not a Cricket Wireless commercial. And I CC'd my manager, Kate, in that email. So just this week, he shot back saying, hi, Larry, I hope to bring you in one of these days, or on Zoom. And I thought, well, that's great. And I think he also CC'd Kate. And then I hadn't been on Twitter in a while, in a good couple of weeks. And I went onto Twitter and I saw he started following me there. And I thought, well, that's good. I'll follow him back. So it's like, you never know. And so I'm still trying to figure out self-tapes. I guess, what is it? Using Zoom readers or Facebook Messenger readers, whatever. But of course I have an external mic on my cell phone now, which you're supposed to have. I'm trying to figure out what kind of backdrop to get, and I realized I can send out a table message for any feedback to what kind of a backdrop, because my manager Kate said, I want you in yellow or green because of the color clothes you wear, and I thought, okay, we'll keep that in mind. So, and on top of that, tomorrow morning, unrelated, I have somebody in my living unit to quickly look at something I've had a serious problem with, but that was before COVID. So hope to get that finished with good news. And other than that, we're all hanging in there.
Great. Yay. So Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Well, it's Scott Baker has officially gone over his weekly allotted questions, but no, I'm just kidding.
That's funny.
No, he was joking about does he get charged more for monopolizing the questions? Funny. But we've got another one from him who he asks, am I correct in thinking that scope is as important as character development and dialogue?
I think characters are vital and good storytelling is vital. Science fiction allows you also to create a universe, and that allows you to go in a lot of different directions and create a lot of different characters. Scope isn't as important as story and character, I don't think, because you can tell a very intimate story in science fiction as well as any other genre, and you can also tell a very big story, and either one can work if you know what you're doing. So, but you absolutely, when you're creating a story, the fun trick, particularly in film and TV, is to tell a story where the microcosm suggests the macrocosm. So in other words, you'll put a ton of stuff in that suggests the enormous, thing outside that door or whatever, without having to show the millions of whatever. You just show a little of it, and that has a ripple effect of suggestion of the richness of that society or that time and place. So,
but if you focus too much on scope, it's sort of like beating a hollow drum. There's nothing to connect with. We take the ride with character, and there's some things that have interesting ideas. You're writing about the ideas, but in the end, it slides off your brain because there's no human connection. And so scope is very interesting, but I think it all starts with the character.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. So okay, so now I guess it's Bonnie. Bonnie Janowski, go for it.
I really enjoyed the Space Command convention on Sunday.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was really cool. Great interviews, everything.
Yeah, and again, for those who weren't able to come, it's still available on Mr. Sci-Fi, so you can watch the entire convention, and it was really a fun time. I really enjoyed it too. So go ahead, Bonnie. How are you doing?
Well, just COVID's going so long, but just open to any music type things. Still kind of gradually updating my website, checking out some new software and things like that, and still waiting for 2 films to resume, but they haven't yet. One in post-production, one in pre-production, so that would be great if they'll come on through, and just hanging out.
Do you need anything? Or?
Is there anything you need?
Just anybody needing music for anything, just let me know. That would be cool. Big band, jazz, all kinds of styles.
Well, again, remember that the table allows one to share one's work. So you can send an email out to the table broadly and just say, hey, I'm Bonnie Janowski. I'm a composer. Here's a link to my music. Just wanted to let you all know about me. And that can generate great possibility, So, yeah.
I finish up a new website and say, this is a new website. All kinds of new stuff.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly. Well, great. Anything else, Bonnie?
Oh, not today. So just good to see you guys.
Yay. So, Adam, another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes, we have another question from Corey Oakes, who says the U.S. government has co-opted the title/brand of Space Command and dominates search results on Amazon, eBay, and Google. Is there an alternative title to improve searchability by fans?
Well, yeah, if you search Mark Zickry's Space Command or Mark Zickry Space Command, that'll take you right to us. Or if you just go Mr. Sci-Fi, Mark Zickry, that'll take you to all the content.
You can even. I've even just experimented with adding Space Command series, and that does it. Yeah.
And I'm looking into trademarking Mark Scott Zickry's Space Command. I don't think I can trademark Space Command for obvious reasons, but and I'm also looking into trademarking Greenlighting Yourself as well, which is the new book I'm writing.
But the real Space Command has been very kind to us, very friendly. Of course, Space Command is depicted with great guys with a great mission.
This is pre Donald Trump. Fortunately, Donald Trump landed on Space Force, thank God, because that's too close for comfort anyway. But you know, if that's a bullet that went right by, you know, my head. So in terms of,
But
you
the
know,
Space Command is like has been just incredibly helpful to Space Command.
the Air Force,
The
United
Air
States Air
Force,
Force
yeah,
Space
they've
Command,
been-
and their media relations office. They've been great.
They took us on base. They were just really great.
Yeah, it was terrific. So great. So let's see, Earl Smith. I guess you're next. Go for it.
Hello, everybody. Earl F. Smith, multi-award-winning composer, sound designer. I really enjoyed the convention. It was awesome to see Faith and the scene come together.
That was fun.
Her running in the room, because I usually wake up later. Her running, all excited. So, so that was awesome. Also pretty excited. I did a cover song of Bridge Over Troubled Water. It's now a little over 1,600 views, almost third week on Facebook. So that's pretty exciting. I'm gonna try to keep that coming every 2-3 weeks, doing a cover song of me singing, playing the piano, and doing some interesting things like that. I believe I'm gonna get Mark's short film tonight, or the next couple days, and I'll start scoring that and doing the sound design for that.
Cool. 3 cheers.
About it for me.
And can you help Mark with his
Mark Gushwitz. You weren't here for that. He wasn't here for that, sweetie. It's Mark has some sound questions about his podcast. You guys can talk.
We're actually going to be talking after the meeting. We got a scheduled meeting already. So
And again, if anyone is not aware, Earl's daughter Faith is in the new double episode of Space Command Ripple Effect, so you can see her in that, and it's great fun to have so many people who are members of the family in that episode. It's just a hoot. So so cool. Well, 3 cheers, Earl.
Yay.
Yay. So another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam.
Yes, we have a question from Vincent Glazer,
cool,
who asks, when writing a script and having it looked at by a higher up, and they make changes to character lines that makes the speech sound off and weird, how do you talk to them about it?
See, this is the problem. Early in my career, I recognized that power was the single most important thing if you wanted to have your artistic vision reach an audience. Because if you're not in power, whoever is can do whatever the hell they want, and you really can't say. The moment they buy it, if you have given up power, they can do whatever the hell they want. And I've been very lucky in television because I was such a good writer that most of my bosses valued that and didn't mess with what I wrote. And of course, 95% of what I wrote has gotten made, or if not more. So I was very lucky that way, and television was very good to me. But again, that's why I strongly advocate that writers in TV, that writers either become writer producers in television or writer directors in film, because that's the only way you're going to be able to hold on to power. And obviously, if you form your own company and shoot your own material and raise your own money and put it out to your audience directly, then you can control it. But don't think you can have it both ways. You can't write it and sell it and not have it get screwed with. The person who has the power has the power. It's that clear cut. And sometimes you might luck out and have someone on your wavelength and someone who appreciates what you're doing. But more often than not, writers, particularly in film, are just disposable commodities, and they're shoot up and spit out, and then they go on to the next one. So
sometimes you can negotiate by
but-
saying what the concern beneath the note, why the line was
Yeah,
changed.
yeah,
We
yes.
should compromise.
Yes.
But if it's an ego thing, we have so many humorous, not so humorous horror stories from so many friends that it can be. I don't want to be a producer. Mark didn't want to be a producer. We were nervous about being directing, but you sort of get sometimes pushed into it by situations like that. Okay,
yeah,
so,
great.
Okay, yay.
Okay, yay. 3 cheers.
Okay,
so Gino, you're up. Go for it.
Okay. Wasn't expecting that to happen that fast. Hi, folks.
We're getting a lot of echo.
Yeah, it's
What-
that. You might want to get another mic or do something, or turn the gain
Why are
down.
we getting
What happened to your lovely headset, Gino?
Okay.
We love your headset. There we go.
Yeah. Go for it.
is the only Zoom meeting where that happens.
Yeah, well, but
Yeah.
how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Missed you guys last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we had a lovely anniversary. It was great to go to Morro Bay. We really enjoyed it. It was great fun.
Great, great, great. Yeah, Edison was an excellent replacement.
Yeah, I've always felt that way too.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who needs us when you've got Dave,
Yeah, right. Okay, hi folks. Gino, actor, filmmaker, comedian. I will do my regular spiel as if we were at Marie's. I need to check in with Fabian as well, see how things are going. Well, one really great thing is I've been working on Sheila Thompson, who's on right now. We've been working on a project with her, and we've had some really great taping and collaboration and whatnot. And
Great.
I'm not sure if she's had her turn yet, but it's been extremely
Not yet.
gratifying. Not yet. Okay, it's been extremely gratifying. We still have a little bit more to do, and with schedules and whatnot. I'm really excited to. I mean, yeah, it's been fun, and I've been rocking it. So, that's that particular portion. I'm just looking for something that I want to write on real fast. What's the website again to go on to do a copyright?
Copyright, it's copyright.gov, G-O-V.
Okay. Copyright.gov.
Well, be really sure that there's
That it ends in gov, because there's a lot of scams out there, and so it has to end in gov. That's the official government site.
Okay.
People will do it for you, but they'll charge you a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, no, it should only cost $35.
It's $35, and they're charging you a lot of money to push a button which you can push.
Right. Right. Most definitely. Yeah, and also just I can't remember who asked it right before, but when you were addressing the deal with regards to selling your script or whatnot and still wanting to have a piece of control, that was when we were meeting over at the Chinese place. I had that pertained to a question that I had. It was a lot like a question that I had posed to you, and really I've gotten a lot of power out of saying, just being able to tell somebody no, that
Right.
that this is my deal. Take a walk. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's it for tonight, man.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yay. So Adam, another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes, we have a question from Bacasta, who asks, what episode will we see any aliens?
You see aliens in in Forgiveness, the second 2-hour story. So that's where you're going to see. Yeah, that'd be the third of the regular episodes. Of course, Ripple Effect, we don't see aliens. But that's, I mean, realistically, we've shot the first 5 hours of Space Command and also recorded the audio prequel, and we're ramping up to shoot the next hour. So that's where we are with Space Command right now. So cool. So then I guess it's Lydia. Should we take another crack at it if you're there? Lydia, are you there?
Are you? Lydia?
Nope. And how about you, Sheila? Are you there? Sheila Thompson? Are you there? I guess not.
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Go for it.
Hi, guys. First of all, I want to thank Earl Smith for trying to help me, and at the last minute, it didn't work out because the instructor changed his mind. But I really thank you for at least trying to get to me, Earl. Okay.
You're welcome.
And Eric, it's going to be fabulous working with you. It really is going to be fabulous. Gino, thank you so much with that rich voice that you have on my project. And I can't wait for us to narrow it down to what we need to get. But thank you again, okay? Gino, where did you run? You ran away. Oh, well. Anyway, and it's been really fun at the volunteer center at the command center, Space Command.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
getting paint all over the place. I like the painting, so it was nice. It's been a couple of days volunteering. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Yay.
Michelle.
Cheers.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks. So now I think we've done everyone, and now it's Elaine's
Well,
turn.
we're doing,
Wait, who?
We didn't.
Oh,
we skipped me earlier.
Oh,
Yeah.
Adam, go for it. Yeah, go for it, please. Sorry, Adam.
And since we're caught up on Mr. Sci-Fi questions, I might as well jump in. Hi, guys. I'm Adam Sartain. I'm an actor, voice actor, and musician. I play the tuba. And I'm an associate producer on Space Command. Yay! I was one of the many people that worked on the Space Command convention that we had on Sunday, and also going to be working on the continued convention as it progresses. In the meantime, I'm doing as many voiceover auditions as I can get my hands on, as I have time for, and I'm available for table reads when I'm available. I love doing table reads though. So if you need an extra voice, I have 75 voices, accents, and impersonations under my belt. And I'm very good with organization. I'm, as you can see, good with computers. I'm not like coding level good. I can't like design a website from scratch, but if you have a website in WordPress or Wix or something like that, I can help make it easier for you. For a price. Always for a price. No. We can work something out. Anyway, that's me. I've been trying to, I'm going on a much needed vacation starting tomorrow. I'm going camping.
Great.
In the wilderness, far from civilization.
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
I know, yeah. I'm not, but luckily I'll be around other people.
Like good.
My brother is going, and he's much more suited to that sort of thing. So
that's good, because otherwise I would have suggested you watch Grizzly Man.
I won't be eaten by live animals, I'm sure
yeah,
of that.
Good. Good.
So that's it for me.
Okay, 3 cheers. Yay. So now it's Elaine. Wonderful Elaine. Go for it, Elaine.
Well, we missed you. Well, it was a lot of fun to be up in Morro Bay and have our anniversary. Here's my anniversary watch. My anniversary
she just
wristwatch.
Got this nice watch. Yes.
Got a nice wristwatch, which is powered by light.
Wow.
No batteries.
That's
it's powered
great.
by light. Goes forever on light. So that's a good thing. It's just keeping very, very busy with Space Command, of course.
Okay.
You know, trying to keep that going. Money, always on the money hunt.
Yes.
And in between, I was happy just before we left for our anniversary to finish a rewrite on a piece called Comfort, which I had read a while ago. I had a group reading a while ago and addressed some notes. And so now I'll be having another reading to address the notes. Fortunately, it's inexpensive, so that will be easy. But Comfort is just about a small group of people in a small town who are stuck because they don't know how to ask for comfort or to give comfort. And it's a question of, since we're that kind of society, how finding a little bit of comfort allows people to move on. Just reaching out and being able to touch other people and being able to find someone who is on their same beam. So it's about the various faces of comfort. So I was happy to finish that rewrite. My main focus is on Voiceless Roar. I have the same, problem as everybody in terms of COVID, but I'm looking to seek out a producer who has the financing to help me get this thing done. It's not high budget. I could do it for $1 million with leads. With name leads. And again, it's about people in a small town regaining their fight to get back the American dream against a corporatized America, and to regain their sense of value and their sense of rock solid feistiness, which I think is important now. So that's my primary journey now, and it's great to have my family here.
Yay!
Okay, so that's it for me for
Two
now.
cheers.
Yay.
Hi guys. So now it's me, wonderful me. Lots is going on. It's been very, very busy. As Dave Edison said earlier, we had the Space Command online convention with many of our stars there in person on Zoom. Doug Jones, Mira Furlan, Bill Mumy, Barbara Bain, on and on. It was terrific. And we also released the new 2-hour episode of Space Command, Ripple Effect, shot during the pandemic, a
With
2-hour
mo-
episode.
with mostly nice comments on Facebook. I
Yes.
mean, on YouTube, I mean.
Yes, that's great. And over 92% thumbs up on that episode, which is great. Though it's amazing to me that people don't watch the introduction, apparently, because it's like in the introduction, I explain everything about this episode. It was shot during the pandemic. It's not a standard episode, blah, 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 blah. And some people are going, what is this thing? I don't know what I'm looking at. But
Wait, there's the option of skipping you?
I
didn't know
not
that.
for you, Dave. There's no off switch for you. But the point being, we're very proud of it. It went essentially from not even a word on a piece of paper to a completed 2-hour episode in about 2 months, which is amazing. And Elaine and I wrote it, directed, produced it. Dave Edison did amazing, amazing work on it, and David Bartlett, and just our whole team was terrific.
Acting.
And Earl's daughter,
Great
Faith,
acting,
it was
David Raiklin's.
David Raiklin, just a
It was phenomenal.
yeah, it's really, really fun. And
Dean Hovey's sound design and mix.
yes. And so now I've launched the Kickstarter campaign, but if anyone wants to help or get the word out, it's much appreciated because, as I mentioned, our webmaster flaked, and so we have to kind of take up the slack if we can. But beyond that, we're starting a new podcast called Greenlighting Yourself to find out how to make movies and reach out to people who are successfully making movies and making TV shows. Additionally, I'm writing a book
for the business model.
Right, and
standpoint.
I'm writing a book called Greenlighting Yourself. Finished the pilot script of Sweet Haven. Elaine's helping me tweak it. Then we're going to do a Zoom table read with our actors. Barbara Bain, Robert Picardo, Mira Furlan, George Takei, etc. And that'll be fun. And I just learned today that we're on the preliminary ballot for an Emmy for Space Command web series. So that's interesting. So yeah. So I have to.
Is George in?
George in?
You said you mentioned George Takei as
he may be gay.
That's how you remember it rhymes. Is it is he in?
I've talked to Brad. I've written the role specifically for him. When I was at Comic-Con, I ran into Brad and George, and I said, has George ever played a gay man in drama? Because I know he's played sort of gay characters in comedy. And they said no, but he'd love to. So I've basically written a role specifically for him. And it's a very juicy role. So yeah, I think he'll say yes, but I can't be sure, but I think he will. Because we have a history of working very well together, and he likes Elaine a lot. I don't know what he thinks of me, but I hope he likes me. But yeah, so beyond that, just a ton of stuff. I mean, it's just busy. And I have to reach out to all the Science Fiction Writers of America, and I have to reach out to all the Academy members. I have to try and find a list of Academy members so that we can send them, the screeners, a link to the screeners, because we have a shot. So that's
and
the
send,
game. Yeah.
And send Doug Jones to their houses as a indentured servant.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell
a
you.
synthetic servant.
I'll tell you something really interesting. When Guillermo del Toro wanted to get nominated for Shape of Water and win, he had this incredibly gorgeous coffee table book on the making of Shape of Water. And I believe he sent it to every Academy member and every film critic. And I think that was extremely, with a letter from him saying, thanks so much for considering this. And I think that was a very persuasive way of doing things. It must have cost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, but it worked. He won Best Picture and Best Director. So very clever, very, very clever. So that's about it for me right now. I think just need helpers to help me get emails sent out and bang the drum for the Kickstarter campaign. So anyone who can help do that, that'd be lovely, because there's only one of me as near as I can tell. And, so there's not enough time in the day, but there's a lot of possibility, God knows. And Amazon is still considering both Magic Time and Space Command. I heard from their executive on Sunday, because I'd asked him if he wanted to be on the panel moderating Bob Picardo, because he's a huge Star Trek Voyager fan, this executive. And he was told by Amazon, he asked Amazon if he could do it. And they said, no, you have to take a public speaking class that they put on before you can appear in front of an audience of any kind. So that, that killed that. But so yeah, so I'm going to let him know. And because Christina Moses, who stars in A Million Little Things and is in the new Space Command episode, she's very eager to play the lead in Magic Time with Armin Shimmerman as well. And so we really want to make Magic Time as well. So we'll see what happens. Everything just needs money. That's all. And so great. So I think that's about it for me. So we're here every Thursday. Anyone else need anything as we head out the door? No?
Okay.
Well, great. Well, thanks, guys. It's been wonderful, and we'll be here next time. Take
Be
care.
safe, and thanks
Hope you had a great anniversary.
Thank you. We did.
Bye, everybody.